Hey guys, Kuzo here, back with another video. In this video today, we're going to be redesigning Deku into a villain. So we're ending up turning this super insecure guy that got gifted this ridiculous power that he can't even control into a villain. Yeah, that sounds like someone who could easily be a villain. And funny enough, if you compare heroes and villains in their stories, many times there's a fine line where a hero could have easily gone and fallen into the path of a villain. Just like the contrast between Naruto and Gaara. Thought it would be kind of fun to think about what would have made Deku turn into a villain. I don't know, the truth is with him idolizing heroes so much, all it would have really taken is something pretty dramatic happening from the people he respects most, and then a trickle-down effect of worse things happening to him to really push him down that path. Essentially just trying to break the character until they turn into someone like Stain with a kind of skewed ideology, with the ideology still being sound but taking it to a slight extreme because of his experiences most likely. And did I just say slight extreme? I think what Stain does is a little more than slight extreme. But yeah, I thought this would be a really fun idea, turning Deku into a villain. And if this video does well, we have a lot of other characters that we can turn into villains as well from My Hero Academia. And not even just My Hero Academia, we could do it with other series too, but My Hero Academia fits in really well since, you know, the whole hero-villain aspect going on. I was gonna say just imagine Bakugo as villain, but, you know, that's actually not very hard to imagine. And same kind of goes with Todoroki. It's not very hard to imagine Todoroki as a villain either, but I guess the appeal would be, you know, creating the villain costume for them. That would be cool. But yeah, if you guys do like this kind of spin-off villain redesign series, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Or should I say Villain Detroit, smash that like button. Yes, can't be a Kuzo video without some sort of cheesiness going on. Yeah, as for the drawing, I actually had a few different ideas for the pose, and I was going for a standard pose when I was first drawing this, so this isn't the first iteration. But I was like, man, I've done so many standard poses for these redesign series, maybe I should go with something different. So I decided to go with this kind of sitting pose with the hand on the head, so it's like, oh, I'm a cool villain feel, I guess. But yeah, trying to get those cool villain vibes with this position and stuff, and it's always a battle when you're going to draw something and you're deciding whether or not to go with like a cool action pose with stuff flying around, or trying to go for a more casual pose that just shows the character's emotion through subtleties. Though I wouldn't really call the hand on his head a subtlety, I also wouldn't say it's as dramatic as something like an action pose. Whereas an action pose can be more flashy, you can try to pull out more vibes with a kind of position like this. Also, you guys probably saw me erase the arm a little bit ago, and I'm not gonna lie guys, ever since that Naruto Black Clover redesign I did where I erased his arm quite a few times, and everyone was like, if you erase his arm one more time, I've had limb erasing anxiety while drawing these and recording. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I erasing it too many times? But in the end, I end up doing what I feels right anyways, because if it just looks bad, then that's bad. And then someone will be like, why didn't you erase the arm and redraw it? Because of Naruto Black Clover redesign erase arm anxiety, that's why. Nah, just messing around with you. Nah, just messing with you guys. But one thing I was thinking about Deku when I was doing this redesign was the fact that, you know, when he's a hero, he has to think about not completely hurting the villain. Not like going for the kill, you know? And I was imagining Deku with One For All in this redesign. I was thinking about how the hero's main objective is to capture the villain, not to actually injure them, but I mean if they get injured during the fight that's fine, but their objective isn't to injure them, it's to capture them. So a lot of the time their design around their power isn't meant to be completely brutal. I was thinking about a Deku design where he's a villain and he obviously doesn't care about anyone's well-being that he's fighting, and he would be able to just have gear that would completely brutalize people with only 5% of his power. But sadly in this redesign I didn't follow through on that thought process that I had. But I mean, if this video does well, I might actually do a redesign of his design, redesign of a redesign, and give him a costume that would be much more harmful to his opponents. No, I mean, this channel is completely family friendly. Butterflies, unicorns, bakugo. Also, I know, you guys want to see more females in my redesign series. You guys are looking for more curves and lumps in my illustrations. But weirdly enough, female videos on my channel don't do very well, and I don't know why. I mean, the anime community is known for being little pervs. Oh, you over there? You're saying you're not a perv? Don't lie to me. It's not what your Google search history told me. You know, I really need to create some assets for these little moments I do. Like different characters with little emotions that I can put into the video during these points. That should be something that will be on my to-do list. So to come back to the design a little bit, it was a little bit hard to figure out how to do his eyes, making him still look like Deku, but kind of like a villain. Because a big part of Deku are those big wide eyes of his. So I kind of try to keep a curve on the side and just kind of flatten it out on the top. And on the pants there, I decided to put some like little patches on his knees because I was like, why not, you know, make him a little bit more rugged like a villain or something. As for his jacket, it's just a pretty standard jacket when it comes to my designs, just doing that for fun. And I was also debating on whether or not I actually wanted to put that scarf that he has on, if I wanted to put that on him or not. But I was like, you know what, scarves are kind of like bad boy-esque, right? Or depending on the scarf, I guess it could be pompous. I also try to put a lot more black on his design, which technically it doesn't look black in grayscale because it's grayscale, it's just pencil, so you can't really tell it's black or not. It could be green for all you know. But yeah, essentially I just try to put a little bit more dark colors into this design to make him feel more dark and villainesque. Also, a little bit through the design, when I started doing all these shades and stuff, I realized that I was originally going to be making the scarf black, but I made the shirt black, which made me not want to make the scarf black because then it would blend it into the shirt, and I was like, oh my gosh. I just made a compromise and made the scarf a little lighter. Sacrifices we gotta make for illustration, understanding, and appeal. Why must we be bogged down by such rules? Nah, I'm kidding. The scarf change wasn't that big of a deal. And I decided to put a line going down his shirt just to give a little bit of a asymmetrical feel, you know. Can't be too in line, gotta have something off about him, you know. Cause he's rough, he's jagged, he's edgy Deku. Oh my gosh, that's his villain nickname, Deku Edgio. Oh my goodness, what have my videos become? Alright, so now I'm working on the sleeve. I decided to put a little circle thing on the sleeve because, you know, those circle things on the side of the sleeve always look kind of cool. This little aesthetic that I like putting into my illustrations. I don't necessarily know why I like the look. Maybe it's because of the blockiness of the thing that's around it, contrasted by the circle. I don't know, big and blocky, and then kind of circle-ish, maybe contrast each other. I should probably figure out why these shape designs are appealing to me, so that way I can figure it out, replicate it, and kind of create like a whole system around it. Which I already have a slight system with it, but the deeper you understand something, the more you can actually play with it, break the rules, and bend the rules in order to maybe come up with a completely different result, and maybe even a better result. Also, before someone asks, I might as well just let you know that I'm using a disposable Bic mechanical pencil 0.7. For the paper, it's from a sketchbook that I really liked, and I tore the paper out of the sketchbook. It already had like a pre-tear crease on it, so it wasn't like I was just savagely ripping pages out of my sketchbook like some sort of monster. Because some of you are probably like, oh, how could you do that to such a nice sketchbook? First of all, the sketchbook had a kind of weird cover to it, but the paper was nice. And then when I would draw on it, I didn't really like the way it sat down because I hated it when it bubbled up in the middle. I like sketchbooks that can sit down and has kind of like a landscape flatness to it. The crease in the middle doesn't really get in the way of anything. Because man, I really dislike it when it kind of curves into the middle too much. Trying to draw something on the edge of the sketchbook like towards the middle crease, and it's just like bending inwards, and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drawing on a cylinder or something. Alrighty, so we already finalized this face now in this process, and now that I'm rewatching it, I feel like I could have done a little bit better on the eyes and trying to make them look a little bit more like Deku's eyes, but villain Deku eyes. I feel like somewhere between sketch lines and these finished hard lines, I kind of lost what I was originally going for, which can tend to happen to a lot of people when they say, my inks don't look the same as my sketches, or my clean sketches don't look the same as my inks, or something like that. And initially it's from just lack of knowledge of kind of actually knowing what you're going for and understanding the structure of what you're trying to do. Like for example, I really should have been looking at Deku's eyes the whole time I was doing that, so that way I had a better sense of what I was actually trying to go for and how I was trying to warp his eyes. Of course, Kuzo didn't have any reference up, and I was like, I'ma do this straight out of my mind. Which I'm not saying drawing out of your mind is bad, that is something that you want to do, but typically in this sort of case I need to know what his eyes look like. And though I already know what they look like, sometimes in the midst of drawing, your imagination and what you kind of think they look like get a little bit muddled between what you're drawing and what you think they look like if you don't know the subject that well. That was definitely the case for this. Just like in my Meliodas 7 Deadly Sins redesign, I should have been looking at Meliodas' eyes a little bit more when doing that. You think I would have learned the first time around, huh? Alright, so now we're getting into a background, which I don't always do with these redesign series, but I thought since he was sitting, it would be kind of weird if he was sitting on nothing. So I decided to go into a full-on background. I went kind of simple with the background and kind of rough with it because it wasn't the main focus. I went a little bit rough with it just to make it kind of an out-of-focus feel. Plus I didn't really see the point in going all out with the whole background. I decided to go with a little bit more detail with the things that are in the center where he is, more so than the things on the side. Because most people are going to just be focusing on what's in the center where he is. But yeah, it's been a little bit since I drew some like pipes in a background, and it was kind of refreshing kind of following the perspective lines I laid out. It was kind of fun. If you notice when I'm just kind of free flowing and having fun, I hold my pencil really far back. As you can see, I'm not holding it very close up. I'm just kind of doing a far back sketch of everything. It has kind of a nice feel. Although it is harder to control it like that, it's something that feels free. That's why it's harder to control. It's kind of doing its own thing. It's not bound by the structures of reality. And no, seriously, what have my videos become? Yeah, I decided to put in cracks and all that stuff to make sure it had that rugged look that went along with, oh, I'm a villain, I'm in a kind of rugged place. And I'm sure you guys can tell I went with a kind of rugged tech look for the background on this. But if you guys want to help support my artists, help support what I do on this channel, you guys can check out my Patreon. But big thanks to all my current Patreons. I'm getting too many of them and I'm running out of time to be able to actually say all you guys' names in these videos. Super big thanks to you guys, and you guys are the craziest pencil shinobis there are around. In any case, if you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you're new to this channel, like what you see, please subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notified when each video comes out. And like always guys, hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.